From our previous videos, we understood that there will be exclusive lock acquired when we receive a message using peak lock mode. And the minimum lock duration will be of 1 minute and maximum can be of up to 5 minutes. When we receive a message using peak lock mode, the received message itself will contain most of the detail about the lock, like what is the unique lock ID and what is the expiration time for this lock, and when exactly the log will get expired in terms of UTC time. So all those detail will get in the message object itself. So with the help of this detail, we'll get to know when the log will get expired, and just before the log is getting expired, we can renew the log. And please make sure that we need to renew the log before it getting expired. Once the lock is expired, we cannot renew it. The broker will throw an error. Now to simulate that, what we'll do, we'll just try to immediately after receiving the message, we'll do a console log, and I have written a piece of code like this. What exactly we are trying to do with this piece of code is, this message object is having one property called locked until. This is a datetime offset property type that will give exact expiry time of lock on this particular message. With the help of this property, we are trying to run the loop until 10 seconds before of this lock expiry. That we are doing by comparing this property with datetime UTC. We are taking UTC format, that is because this locked until is returning the data in terms of UTC, you can see. So with the help of this property, by comparing with datetime in UTC format, we are running the loop until 10 seconds before of this lock expiry. Inside the loop, we are just console logging the message saying still in old lock and the expiry time of lock on the message. And we are hitting this loop for every 5 seconds to avoid more console log messages. So when this loop exit, when we come out of this loop, we'll be still having 10 more second for the lock expiry. So before the lock is getting expired, we are going to renew the lock on the particular message. For that, against this receiver object, there is one method called renew message lock casing. This will take message as a parameter on which we are trying to renew the lock. We'll be passing this particular message as a parameter. That's it. So when we call this message, when we call this method, this will communicate to the Azure service bus and will try to reset the lock on this particular message. Basically, the lock will be resetted for another 1 minute. So after this piece of code, we'll be just console logging the current expiry time on the message. So that's it on receiver side. We'll go to our sender part, which we are using throughout this video series. So this is simply sending a couple of messages to the queue, and we'll go to our queue and make sure nothing is there. Yes, the queue is empty. First, we'll try to run the sender. Yep, both the messages are sent. We'll close it and we'll make sure the message reached service bus. Yes, both the messages are there. Now we'll go to the receiver application. We'll have a breakpoint here just before the loop, maybe. It is started. Yes, now the breakpoint is hit. If you try to explore this message object, it is containing couple of properties related to token. You can see the lock token. This is the token you used to identify the lock on this particular message in service bus. And this lock until is the datetime property which will let us know about the exact expiry time of the lock. So you can see the current expiry time is 9:51 and the current time is 9:50. So it is having 1 minute of interval. So we'll just remove the breakpoint and we'll try to let the run. Yeah, for every 5 second interval, the loop will be hit and it will be saying that still it in wood lock, and it will just print the current expiry time of lock until 10 seconds before the lock expiry. So once it reaches the 10 second before lock expiry, it will come out of the loop and it will try to renew the message lock. Yeah, just still waiting. Yes, you can see the lock is renewed, and you can see the new renewed expiry time is 9:52. Earlier was 9:51. Now it is added another 1 minute because the lock is getting renewed. We need to make sure that we did renew the lock before it getting expired. If we try to renew the lock after the expiry, it will throw an error. I just wanted to show that use case. To simulate that, what we'll do, we'll try to delay after receiving a message. Task dot delay and span dot from minutes will make to wait 1 minute because the lock expiration time is 1 minute. So immediately after receiving a message, we are explicitly waiting for a minute before renewing the lock. So by this time the lock will would have been expired. So when we try to renew after the expiry of lock, it should throw an exception. App is started and it is received a message and it will be waiting for a minute. Yes, now you can see the exception is thrown. It says like this is the value supplied is invalid. Either the lock could have been expired. That is because we are trying to renew the lock after a minute, which by the time the lock would have been already expired. Also, it's recommended to keep some buffering time before calling this renew method. That is because behind the scenes of this renew method, this has to communicate to service bus via API to make the renewal possible. That's it for this video, and we'll see more about the action on the message like completing and abandon in our next video. Thank you for watching, and if you like this content, please do subscribe to support me to grow this channel.